Well, I'm reporting to you from my car. I just got out of work, and I managed to catch the Lions game while working. And don't worry, I didn't get in any trouble. Although I wanted to, I was celebrating. That was a good. The Lions on Monday night beat the Baltimore Ravens 38-30. That's probably the most impressive road win I can remember for quite some time. It ranks up there. They've had a few too. So after this was a huge win for the team because they started week one very ugly. They got dominated by the Packers, and I feel like the score of that game wasn't indicative of how bad that was. But then they had a good rebound game against Chicago. They beat them 52-21. They looked like the Lions of old, but the caveat was, well, it's just the Bears, And there's a good argument to that. But they looked a lot better. But the true test came tonight. And you come to Baltimore. A playoff, a Super Bowl. A lot of people have Baltimore in their top 5. And you go in there on Monday night, and it was a hard-fought victory. It's not like they slaughtered them. It was a good game, back and forth. But you hung in there and you won, and then so you made a statement that, hey, yeah, we lost Ben Johnson. Yeah, we lost Aaron Glenn. We lost all these coordinators. Frank Ragnow retired. Zeitler went to another team, so our offensive line isn't quite as good. But we're still the Detroit Lions. We still got all that talent there. We still got St. Brown. We still got J-Mo. We still got Jared Goff. I mean, I mentioned this last week, leaving, and I feel like that's more pertinent now. I feel like the game lived up to what it was supposed to be. Everyone expected it to be high scoring, and it was. But I feel like the defense made key plays when it mattered. And I know it sounds strange in a high scoring game to give credit to the defense, but especially that front seven. My Lord, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is an MVP caliber quarterback. The MVP either goes to him or Josh Allen. It just seems like those are the two guys that always win it. And for them, the Lions, to sack him 7 times, they even forced a fumble on him. I mean, he recovered. And I will even add, they stopped Derrick Henry. Yeah, he had a 27-yard touchdown run, but outside of that, they held him in check, and they even forced a fumble on him. And recovered. This game was awesome. This feels like the Lions of the last 2 years. And now they made a statement, hey, you may have knocked us down in week 1, Green Bay, but we're not going anywhere, and we're still tied. Now we're tied with you. Green Bay lost last week to the Cleveland Browns in a weird, stunning upset. So they're 2-1, and the Lions are 2-1. The Vikings are also 2-1, and I don't know what to think of the Vikings. They beat the Bears. No, wait. They beat the Bears, but they had to come back from behind. It was a weird game. They lost to the Falcons in an ugly game. But then they rebounded and just destroyed the Bengals. Bengals didn't have Joe Burrow, though, so they're still kind of unknown. I mean, the whole division outside of the Packers won today, this week. So, I mean, what can you say, though? Jared Goff played well. St. Brown. Once again, Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs get touchdowns. And they go for it on 4th down 3 times, and they get it 3 times. And the play calling was awesome. I would swear that Ben Johnson didn't go anywhere, because there was a play on 4th Fourth down near the goal line. It was around the 3 or 4, and they hiked the ball. They hand it off to St. Brown, and then St. Brown runs out to the right, and then he laterals it to Jahmyr Gibbs, and Gibbs runs it in for the touchdown. You would think that that's Ben Johnson didn't go anywhere. So I was impressed with the play calling on offense. The defense stepped up. You knew that Baltimore was going to get their points. They have a great offense with Lamar Jackson and DeAndre Hopkins at wide receiver. Zay Flowers didn't do anything, and he's one of their best receivers. Mark Andrews had a good game for them. And then, of course, they got Derrick Henry at running back. But the Lions defense stepped up when it mattered most. And the other strategy they did, it was kind of funny. The Ravens punted, and they kept the Lions down to like their own 2-yard line, their own 4-yard line. You'd think, well, that's a win for the Ravens, but honestly, it kind of backfired because the Lions just took their time going down the field, converting third down. And they had an 18-play drive that took like 9 minutes off the clock. I can't remember the time, but they kept Lamar Jackson off the field, and that's another way you beat him, is just playing ball control offense. And the Lions do that just as good as any team in the league. They got guys who can just get schemed open. Sam Laporta had key third down catches. They spread the ball around, and they do what they do. And they come out with a win, 38-30, and a huge win. This was a statement game for the Lions. That hey, we haven't gone anywhere. Week 1, we were bad, but we're still here. So amazing win. My game ball is gonna, in a weird sense, this is gonna be weird because it's 38-30. But my game ball is gonna go to the defensive front. They sacked Lamar Jackson 7 times, I think maybe 7 or 8 times, which is kind of weird. This seems to be kind of the theme. Michigan sacked Dylan Raiola a whole bunch of times in the game on Saturday. So the defensive front on both Michigan and the Lions really stepped up this weekend. And so I'm going to give it to the defensive front in general. I have to mention Aiden Hutchinson, though. He had a sack and a half, got pressure, and he punched the ball out from Derrick Henry, and they recovered by DJ Reed. That was a key point. And I don't know, what just an amazing win. But now they got a tough road. Do not overlook the Browns, because as we know, they snuck up on the Packers, and the Browns, if they have anything, is they have a good defense. Myles Garrett's there. They got some big. I don't know their whole roster, but their defense looked pretty good when I watched them play the Packers this last Sunday. And of course, the Browns defensive coordinator, former Lions head coach Jim Schwartz. So there's a little story there. So you cannot overlook the Browns. They come back Sunday. It's a short week. You just got done Monday. They're going to have to regroup right away and take out the Browns. I'm not really scared of their offense. Their quarterback is Joe Flacco, who's in his 40s. I'm surprised he's still playing. I'm not really worried about their offense, but their defense is going to be a challenge. Their defense versus this Lions offense is going to be fun to watch, and I'm going to be there because it's at Ford Field at 1 o'clock. So get ready for that video. Like I said in my previous video, Michigan has the bye week, so there's no Michigan video next weekend. It's just going to be Lions. So until then, go Lions, the 2-1 Lions. Go Blue, go Pistons, go Red Wings, and come on, Tigers, get your act together. I mean, you're only 1 game ahead, and you were up by like 15 earlier in the season. don't just win some games and get in the playoffs, please. I'm begging you. But outside of that, stay safe, and I'll see you later.